course. We're actually talking about online dating today. So, you know what? The reason why I chose this topic because there's a lot of people that have gravitated to online dating during the pandemic. You know, because face it, it's really hard to meet people in a pandemic. And so there's a lot of people trying out online dating for the first time. And there's a lot of people out there that's truly frustrated because they really don't know like how to navigate this whole digital communication, especially when you're trying to find love or find relationships. So I want to shed some light as to ways that you can make online dating a success. And I'm not doing this alone. I have some amazing panelists that'll be joining me tonight. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Chidima Anusium. I am a best-selling author, transformational speaker, and I'm also a divorce coach. My goal is I help divorcees and anyone that's gone through a breakup. I like to help them heal, go through that healing process, move past their pain, and position their hearts to love and receive love again. And so that's why we're talking about dating. So without further ado, I want to introduce my first panelist, Melissa Oliva. Melissa, would you mind joining me tonight?
Hello.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
Melissa. I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to have you. So, yes, it's a complete honor. And I definitely want to introduce everyone to you because, like I told you before, you're like, we became fast friends this summer. You have assisted me with my life coaching, divorce coaching course that I was doing this summer. And since then, it's just been this amazing connection. So I'm privileged to know you. And I'm
Same
privileged to
here.
introduce you to our viewers today. So, you are currently the CEO of Vision Works Coaching and Counseling, and you're a breakthrough coach. So, hopefully, you can tell us a little bit about what that means. But you're also a speaker, a published author, and the creator of Be Healed Transformation Process. So, you're also a mom and a chocolate lover. Hey,
Yes.
me too. um, the book that you actually authored was called Live Out Loud 52 Ways to Reawaken Your Spirit and Live a Life of Purpose. I'm going to say that again 52 Ways to Reawaken Your Spirit and Live a Life of Purpose. It was featured on in the movie 72 Hours, which I thought was absolutely amazing. But you've also been featured on several magazines and some live appearances on CBS as well as a slew of others. So your 20 years experience, you've coached many women of color through, deep trauma, healing from their wounds. And I personally can attest to that because I've actually consulted you on a couple occasions and you have definitely changed my life. So I'm going to stop talking. I want to hear more about you as that breakthrough coach. Tell us more about that.
Well, again, thank you so much for having me. I'm just excited. I feel like we're going to have like a really, really good time tonight. And as you said, breakthrough coach, and I just really help people get in touch with themselves so they can have those breakthroughs that they're looking for. And really, that's all about finding answers to questions that you've always had and solutions. So a lot of times we find ourselves repeating things over and over again or the same lessons. But, a lot of times when people come to me, they are ready to make a real life transformation. And that's the type of work that we do.
I love that breakthrough coach. I mean, that's a breakthrough in itself. And I know a lot of people that can benefit from that. I'm telling you. So thank you, Melissa. Thank you for that. I'm gonna have you back on in just a minute. I'm gonna bring on our second panelist. I want to introduce to everyone, Vulnerius Rackley. Vulnerius, would you mind joining tonight?
Oh, of course. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, sis.
So Venarius is like my childhood friend. We literally grew up together. We went to the same church, and this is my brother. This is family here. So I was just so excited to have family on with me too.
Me too. Thanks for having me, sis. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So I guess I want to introduce you as well. I love what you do. Venarius actually is a filmmaker. He is originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, but reside here in Atlanta. Graduated from HBCU, Morehouse College. Let's hear for our historically Black colleges out there representing. And so, again, you are a positive role model and a wonderful father to your 13-year-old, 12-year-old daughter, sorry.
Don't,
What'd you say?
don't do that to me. Don't get.
You said she at 22, so 13 is better than 22.
Right.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, how long have you been in film, and what is kind of that message or hope you want to share with the world through your filmmaking?
That's so good. Again, thanks for having me, sis. I appreciate it. Well, I've been in film, gosh, I would say about 10 years. And like I said, finished at Morehouse College back in '05. I'm dating myself right now. But even at Morehouse, got a chance to do a little bit of acting there. And then after college, just started acting more. But as I started acting, I wanted to kind of evolve. I wanted to learn more about film production in itself. And that's kind of where everything had just started for me. It started with Tyler Perry Studios, learning film production with him. Definitely a blessing to be able to do that. And then just kind of roll from there. Did a lot of entry-level production work as a production assistant. And during that process, God put it in me to continue to be creative. And as being a creative, that's exactly what I did. And so produce small projects here and there, inspirational projects that would encourage people, move them, push them forward into their destiny and things like that. And so that's what I've been doing. And so now, fast forward 10 years, I'm able to produce more, to assist and direct, and potentially direct as well. So God has been good. I'm looking forward to producing even more projects, and hopefully expand my platform a little bit.
I love it. So everybody out there, take a screenshot of his face because you're going to be seeing more of this.
Don't do that.
I knew him back when.
Never want to screenshot this face. This is a big head right here. That's too much on that's too much on the screen.
Hilarious. Hilarious. So just so you know, like both of Valerius and Melissa, Melissa, if you don't mind joining us, we're going to go ahead and have our discussion. Both Valerius and Melissa have both. I'm sorry.
No, I said we're back.
We've all gone through a divorce. We've all experienced kind of what that feels like. And I felt that it was only fair that I would bring panelists on that not only had the expertise, but they also had the experience of walking through it themselves and kind of get in your shoes and know what you've gone through as a divorcee. But again, as I mentioned before, this is not just for divorcees. These are people that have gone through a breakup, or maybe you're just out here really trying to understand how to be successful dating online. This is for everyone that is, interested in this topic. So no one's excluded. So without further ado, let's get into some discussion, y'all. I'm so excited about this, okay? Because online dating, some people either hate it or love it, but we want to give it a different light. We're going to shed a different light on it tonight. So I'm going to pose this question out there. Either one of you can go first, but what should your mindset be before you even start dating online? Like, what is that preparation process like?
Melissa's drinking over there. Go, you ladies first.
For me, I feel like you need to go into it with an open mind, and you need to go into it like really free-hearted and just going to have some fun. And I don't know, that just seems to work for me. I feel like so many people go into it like it's a job interview, and it is, but they just take too much seriousness to something that should be like a fun process.
Yeah,
I agree. Valerius, you have to.
Yeah, I would say don't give your heart too early.
Yes.
Like, go into it just understanding that it's online dating. You don't have to take it, like Melissa was saying, don't take it too seriously. Just go into it, like I said, with an open mind, and then go from there. I think if you take it from that angle, you're able to kind of like, everything can kind of be more organic, and then you can kind of grow, with pouring your heart a little more here and there. But yeah, just don't, go online and tell everything that you've been through and all that kind of stuff,
Oh my goodness. Come on, you better say that, Valerius. And I call that like emotional dumping. Like, it's just, Oh my God, I've had some of the weirdest conversation, y'all. Can I be real? Can we have an adult
No,
conversation?
let's be
I
all.
would have people in their first conversation tell me, I'm a virgin, I'm not trying to sleep with nobody and all this. I'm like, I don't even know if I like you yet. I don't want to know that. And I just feel like I agree with you both, when you're dating online, ease into it. No need to go through your checklist and say, I want to make sure I find out everything about this person in the next 30 minutes, because you'll start scaring people away. You want to be smooth and you want to ease into it. Melissa, you agree with that?
Absolutely. I'm laughing because, I have friends at various stages of the dating, and the phone calls I get afterwards, or, he said this. And so, no, nope, not going to work. And I'm like, did you just talk to him once, or you met him once? Like and I'm like, it's just too much. But like, I understand the idea of red flags, but we take things a little too serious. And we don't allow people to be human, not realizing, like, look, the first date, everybody's nervous. It's the first date. Allow to see what happens. Give it another chance. If he calls you, give it another opportunity. Of course, then if you see things, move on. But a lot of it is like people have a checklist, and then they're immediately looking for either someone to mess up, or if they don't match this immediately, instead of just kind of enjoying the process. And that gets tiring fast. It gets real tiring real fast if you do it that way.
Oh, true.
I agree.
Yeah, I think too. We can't go into it like it's speed dating online. We can't.
Say that again, Venarius.
We cannot go into online dating like it's speed dating online, y'all. We got to go one better and just say, look, I'm about to get real slang on y'all, real country.
You're from Atlanta. Let's go.
Come on now. But we gotta go into it like you said, with an open mind, but also we can't come into it with the mentality like Melissa said, give me a reason why I shouldn't.
Yes.
No, it should be, you know what? I'm not gonna even do that whole give me a reason thing. I'm just and like Melissa made a good point when she said people are nervous. I know me, like I'm super corny, especially early on. I don't know what to say besides how you doing, how was your day, and then like that gets boring quick. So it's just a matter of being you, and just keeping in mind that yes, it's online, but if that person actually met you in person, like instead of it being, if it wasn't online and you walked up to that person or it was a face to face, would you act that way? Like, so just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Yes, it's online, but it's still that shouldn't take away from who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think too, what I find is that, because a lot of women, they come to me, we talk about this, and they're preparing to date, or they're either dating. If you have stuff that you're still unpacking, then you need to unpack that stuff before you start dating. Because what happens is, like, all your baggage you just bring to the person. Like, and Chi, I call her Chi, everybody. So Chi made that comment of like, like you're unloading everything. And so like, if you're still dealing with stuff from your divorce, you still got baby daddy issues, you still have hurts and pains, and we all carry that stuff. Please talk to somebody about it, work it out, because the very first thing you do, you're like talking about what they're doing, you show up unpacking all of this stuff with a person you don't even know.
Melissa, can I add to that?
Yes.
And then you're still married.
Ooh.
You're not supposed to be online. I'm gonna say that again. There's a lot of married people online dating.
Yeah.
And the excuse is we're separated.
Yes.
You're still married. And there's some people that's seriously online looking for real relationships. They want to be married. They can't marry you if you're already married, right? So to your point, like, let's be responsible, because these are real people with real emotions putting themselves out there. And if you're not serious about that, you're probably on the wrong platform. There are also some apps where if you just want to have friends, there's apps for that. But there are specific places that people that really are looking for genuine connection are going to be. And I just feel like that's not the right space for you.
Okay, so here's my caveat with that.
Okay.
It's funny because somebody else was talking about this earlier today. What about the person who's going through a 3-year divorce? My thing is just show up honest, because I really believe you attract people for where you really are. And that is that other person's option. Now, if you're in that space and you're lying, because that happens, where people are not saying they marry and know they marry, or they say that they're divorced and you later find that they live in the same house and the divorce hasn't even started and it was just conversation, that's something different. But you do have people who are, and I had this experience when I was dating. My divorce was a very long one. I was married to an attorney. So every time that someone's supposed to be final, nope, not this week. Nope, not this month. Nope. So it was like, so I was getting a little like, I just wanted to talk to someone else, but I was very honest. And I really knew I wasn't going to meet the one during that time. Like, but I just wanted to go out on a date. Like I literally knew that, but I was very honest, and other people showed up honest too. I've met people in that situation. So it's up to you to choose how you want to go forth with that or not go forth with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think also too, going back to the unpacking part, a lot of people, at least for myself, I can speak for myself, is that sometimes I would have, after my divorce, I was married for 5 years, divorced for 8. And during the 8 years, trying to figure out if I was going to, when do I start online dating? Like when do I start dating? Like, how do I know when I'm healed? And one of the things that I learned is that when you don't feel the need to unpack, when you don't feel the need to unload your personal business, when you don't feel the need to put everybody in a box.
Yes.
That's part of the key to showing that it's an indicator that, okay, you might be kind of moving on now.
Yes. Yes, that's big.
Not to eliminate the hurt, not to say that the hurt, is still not a big thing, and what you went through is not a big thing. But at the same time, I think there's indicators to show yourself, you know what, maybe I am ready. You know what I'm saying, to kind of get to know somebody else, get out there, and really see what's going on with this whole dating thing. You know,
I believe that's true, and you've processed it enough to where you've come up with some answers or some solutions, and you're no longer trying to, because that's what the conversation comes from. You're still trying to process why that person did what they did, or trying to prove to yourself that you're not the person that they thought that they said that you were, by explaining it to this new person who doesn't know you at all. So yeah, I do feel like that definitely resonates with me. Like you've processed it enough to
so be. Let's stay in that vein, okay? Because I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself. I wanted to take us through this process from, but let me stay in that vein. If you are a divorcee and you meet someone online and they ask you what happened, right? Why did you get divorced? Do you answer them right away? Do you give it some time? How do you handle that scenario?
I kind of found that if this is like our first conversations, we haven't gone on a couple date, I would just stay away from the topic. I would just say it didn't work out, obviously, right? Because we ain't together, okay? And let's talk about it at another time. And I mean, that was enough for the people that I talked to. And then when I started feeling more comfortable, we were having more conversations, then I would go into it if it came back up again. Because it wasn't like I'm hiding anything, but it was more so like, get to know me, not like what you think. Because another thing, like, how I was talking about, women can show up with a checklist, men can show up with a checklist too. Absolutely. And then if you say that, they'll be like, well, so why your marriage didn't work? Because then it's like
what that question really means is, was it your fault?
That's exactly what it means. Like, what happened? And so, no, I don't want to be judged. No. And that's none of your business, because I really don't know you like that. So let's just talk about us and how we gonna get to know each other and how we gonna have some fun and so forth. Because then you get to also know a little bit about the other person too by the questions that they ask. Right. I can tell when a person is stuck when they're asking certain questions. Like I remember one of my biggest turnoffs were, how long have you been on this site? literally, I'd be like, I just want to choke the person. I don't know. So does it mean like if I've been on here 2 years, nobody wants me?
Yeah.
If I've been up here 1 month, that's a good thing. I don't know what to answer to that. Or how's it working for you? Apparently, I don't know. I'm still here.
But that's a good point. Let's help some people out tonight and talk about that. But Veneris, it seemed like you had a point. I want to make sure we capture that.
Yeah, so I was always like really gun ho, like, you know, in the very beginning of online dating for me, a few years ago, I was gun ho about like, you know, just being transparent. I'm a transparent person, so you know, no matter if I'm just meeting you, so I was that guy. And Melissa's right. What happens is people start judging you even before they get to know you. What they're doing is getting to know the old you and kind of what you've been through, and they don't know the process of getting to a better place, and the person that they're talking to now, who that person is, you know, they're kind of just seeing kind of what. So I think it's really good to just be a little more reserved, and especially the first 2 or 3 dates or first 100 dates. Don't say anything. Just kind of you know, just kind of, you know, talk about yourself and get to know that person. And I think when you do that, you're better off, definitely.
And I would like to add to that with the divorce question. Sometimes I call it a trickle. It's like share a little bit, but not everything. Until you can trust that person with your story, because not everybody can kind of handle the meat and potatoes of that. And it can scare people away, you know. But I always make sure when I do share, I'll always take ownership. I always say, this is what I learned and have been working on. And now I feel like I'm in a place where I overcome that. Because that's really what's going to make them feel at ease. That, okay, yeah, you may have gone through a divorce, but doesn't mean that our relationship is going to be like that because you did your hard work, right? So I think that's kind of like another tip to approach that. So
I definitely agree, because I always say, well, what was one of the lessons that you learned? Like versus what happened, like what were some of the things that you learned coming out of that? I love the way you phrase that.
Absolutely. Thank you. So gosh, I had another question. I lost my train of thought, so we're gonna get to the next thing. Profiles.
Oof.
Okay. Because y'all be seeing these some of them be like a whole dissertation. Okay, I'm like, you ran out of space, you talking so much. And then some of them is like nothing, like you know, hit me up if you want to know more. Okay, so I need to understand. Are we all out here trying to understand what is a profile supposed to look like if you want to generally create real connections? You know, what should you share? What shouldn't you share? But how can you give enough about who you are to kind of pique the interest of those that are kind of out there looking? So, Melissa, do you want to start first?
I think you should just be in the mid-range, you know, just a little taste about yourself, something that makes you unique or special, like one of your interests. I remember, you know, early on when I was dating, I put down that I enjoyed, you know, meditation and hiking. So it was a way for, and golf, it was a way for guys to say, oh, we can go do this together. But, you know, sometimes what people do is they'll put down their list of requirements. Don't do that. Like that becomes too much when it's like, you know, I need somebody who is 6'3", you know, 6 figures, you know, just whatever. People put down their whole list of requirements and that just becomes overwhelming or too much. The other thing with profiles is like literally whatever, when you're looking at your photos, whatever you put out there, you get back. So I had friends and clients who would always get these pictures. You know, this is a Christian show, so I won't say more than that, but always got pictures in their mailbox. And I was like, I ain't never got no picture. And then I looked at their profiles. I was like, oh, this is why they sending you pictures, because you look like you should be getting pictures. So you
crack it up.
You know, and then you're like, all the guys online are nasty. You standing up there with your butt out. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, what you.
I mean, I'm saying.
I'm just telling the truth, Melissa. Go and tell me.
Yeah. So you have to think about that. Like, whatever you're putting out there, you're going to get back. And if you're saying, hey, I'm available. Now, if that's what you want, I'm a therapist. I am a Christian. I always tell people that I'm a Christian first, but I am a therapist. So a part of that is non-judgmental. So my thing is, if that's what you want, go for it. But if you're saying you want to meet somebody, be married, and this, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Period. With a T on the end.
Yeah, don't do that. If you want something casual, then go for it. I mean, like, cause you really, what I find, and I'm gonna let you speak, is that the men that I talk to, most of them don't read the profiles anyway. They just look at the pictures.
We don't like to read. We too lazy. We just want to see your pictures and see what you got going on.
That's it. And they could tell from the picture who you are.
Yes.
That is so crazy to me, because the guy would be looking at the picture and he'll be like, oh, okay, she professional, or she like to hang out, or she would.
Conservative. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Tell us more about that, Veneris. Good point, Melissa. That was so real. Thank you for sharing that.
we used to y'all doing too much. Y'all just extra with it when y'all pictures and stuff. Y'all want to be all over the place, all over the world, saying y'all big travelers and all this. And
you only been 2 places.
The concerts, and kind of know, what I'm saying, based on that, what's going on. So that's, we don't have to read your profile. I mean, if we do read it, like sometimes I'll read it, and I'm like, okay, that just confirms what I already see and know. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is for me. Like, and to go back to the question, I'm not a dissertation guy. Like you're not gonna get mid-range from me. I'm sorry, sis. You're not getting mid-range from me. You're gonna get photos. A lot of them probably, because I like to work out, or I like the outdoors, so you may see something like that. And you may get one line from me, but but that's intentional. And I actually had females get mad at me for not putting more on my profile. And they preface that with a question, and they say, "Tell me more about yourself," or "Why you don't have this?" And I'm like, "Listen, I am a conversationalist, and so I would rather unpack some things, not all the personal stuff, but just unpack some things just in conversation." I don't.
Your profile say that. So instead of you sharing everything, should your profile say that so that people are aware?
It maybe should. I haven't approached it that way, and that would probably kind of eliminate some of the the confusion. But yes, I'm just not that. I'm more of a conversationalist. So it's more of I'm starting to now kind of ease into the whole mid-range thing, because I see the importance of it. Of people having some sort of idea of who you are, so I'm kind of starting to ease into it now.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I'm seeing the dynamic between men and women. It's like women, we want to read. We want to kind of get a little bit more, because let's face it, there's a lot of beautiful men online. Don't mean they beautiful inside. Okay, we got to know what's going on. I think sharing, like what you said, Valeria, is like, hey, I would love to share more if you swipe right. I'm more of a talker than a texter, whatever, however you want to say it. But maybe giving people the idea, insight to like who you are. I'm like that too. I hate texting. So I'm not going to have a whole paragraph on my profile, but I will have enough so you can have a sense of who I am. And then I'm going to invite you to have more conversation with me, which brings me to our next point, is that I see some profiles that say, if you a diva and you a gold digger and you did swipe left. And I feel like what that does mentally, it triggers a negative response to your profile, makes people want to swipe left. Mm-hmm. Why don't you create a positive profile and say swipe right, and say, hey, if you enjoy hiking, if you enjoy this, swipe right. Take a positive spin to your profile so that mentally, those that are reading your profile will be more inclined to swipe right on you. So being careful, like how you portray, that the energy that you're portraying in your profile, I think is very important too. So we have so much to talk about, y'all. I don't know if you want to add any more to that. Okay, because I want to get into the meat and potatoes as far as conversation. So you finally meet someone online, you match with them. How do you have an organic, like a real conversation that's effective, that gets you the date or gets you the phone number or what have you? Like, what does that sound like? What's it supposed to sound like?
Melissa?
I'm going to let you go on that one. We want to hear from the man.
And I've actually put this on my profile before. Please do not make it an interview. Like, don't start off the conversation with tell me more about yourself. That's for me is a complete turnoff. And when I try to coach, and yes, I've had to coach females through it. Hey, let's just conversate. It doesn't have to feel like an interview, you know. This is where I'm from, blah blah blah, and kind of go into it like that. And I think I don't know. I think it's just more organic when you know, for myself, you know, I may start off with like telling, you know, a little bit about myself, where I'm from, what I like to do, those kind of things. And then I'll wait and see what she's going to say and see if she kind of reciprocates and tells me where she's from. And I think that's, you know, and then we kind of build from there. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a conversation. I'm looking kind of to build to a certain place. You know, I'm not looking to get everything out of the person and all those kind of things, but I'm also not wanting to answer question after question after question and having to really like super think about stuff and, you know, kind of think things through in my head before I answer. And it shouldn't be that, especially early on. It should just be, you know, just kind of really just wanting to get to know the general basics, you know?
Yeah. I find that the energy, you talked about that earlier, you can feel a person's energy because, you know, like I online dated for a long time. I'm married now, but I met my husband online, and you could feel their energy through the conversation, those first texts. Like I knew if I wanted to talk to a person or not. And if they were fun, if they were playful, the way in which they answered the, you know, questions, that literally would lead to, hey, let's talk, or we should talk. If a person kept asking me questions back and forth, like honestly, I would get bored because it's like, look, I don't know you, I ain't heard your voice, and you keep asking me where you from. This. After a while, myself, I would get a little annoyed. I'd be like, okay, what's next? You know, like because then when we talk, we know if we really gel or not. So I don't want to be days going back and forth with a lot of this, unless we were actually really vibing and having fun with it. And you can tell. I mean, that's why I always tell people, if you take this whole forced energy out of it and just allow your natural intuition to be a part of it, you'll have fun with it and you'll know immediately who you want to talk to, who you don't want to talk to. It's just that simple. It's almost like meeting a person in person, you know who you're attracted to, who you're not attracted to. I mean, like, it's just, you know, so I don't feel like it was any different.
I
You have
agree.
more choices.
I agree with that. And I would add to, you know, as far as conversations, a couple of things, you know, because I've been on and off on online dating as well. And some things that I find successful is using humor, you know, be funny, say something funny, you know, get them laughing, you know, in your sentences with a question so you can keep the conversation going. Pull something out of their profile that they enjoy doing, or they somewhere they've been to, and say, hey, I saw you went to such and such, I went there too, right? And talk about that topic, because taking the attention away from each other sometimes helps to kind of break the ice and just say, I've been there too, how'd you like it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're just kind of chit-chatting, small talk, and you're finding like, wow, we're really having a good time. Now we can dive in a little deeper about who we are. Right. And then another thing, which I love, that apps now have audio and visual. Anybody know me? I be sending voice notes. They can't stand it. Like, Chinaman, we don't want to hear your voice, okay? Because I don't like texting. But I send voice messages. I want them to hear my voice. I want them to catch my vibe, my energy. And if they don't like my voice, they're like, ugh, you know, she got that country twang. I don't know if I like that. You know, some people don't. That's fine, you know, but I think sometimes creating that human experience through a digital platform is key, because it makes a person feel like there's a real person on the other end and there's real connection being formed. So anyone want to weigh on that?
I think also in conversating, there's another element to it that's not talked about, and y'all hit on it, and it's personality. You know, it's being your authentic self. And whatever that is, like for me, you know, I like to laugh, I'm funny, I have high energy. You're going to see that from me in the text early on. You know, I may joke about something that you said, or, you know, piggyback on something. That shows you, you know, who I am, you know. So it's conversating, it's finding out about people, but at the same time, it's showing your personality. And I think that's a big part of how you can stick out too. In online dating.
Yeah, and just being yourself. I mean, like literally when you were talking about sending the voicemails, I laugh a lot, and I guess by what other people tell me it's a little bit of a quirky laugh. So, like I want to laugh now. I just stopped myself, guys. Because I laugh a lot. And if I'm talking to somebody and they say, "Ooh, you laugh a lot," I'll be like, "Nope, that's not somebody I can talk to," because I can tell it annoyed them. Like that annoyed them, and you gonna be hella annoyed talking to me because I laugh a lot.
Dang.
So I'd be like, "That's not the person." But if I'm talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh my god, you have such a great laugh," then I'm like, "Okay, we're vibing." You know what I mean? And so just be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah. And I want
Oh,
to like be okay with that. Be okay with people not really feeling your vibe.
Yes.
You know, be okay with letting them go. You
Yeah.
know, I think that shows growth too. And also, you don't have to waste, you know, you're not wasting your time. You can go to the next person who does feel your vibe, you know. There's thousands of people to or hundreds of people to talk to online, you know. And so it's, you know, don't rush people off, but it's like Melissa said, based on intuition, if that person is kind of vibing with you or not, if they're not, it doesn't matter if they look good, doesn't matter if they have a nice smile, if their personality doesn't mesh well with yours, it just doesn't, you know. And so
love that.
save your time, save your heart, save the stress of your mind, and just move on. You
Yeah.
know,
I think that's powerful because I think some people get stuck because they felt like that person was their ideal match, and so they're trying so hard to. But what I love about online dating is that there's so many options, right? So you don't get kind of start putting blinders on with one person, because okay, if it doesn't work out with this person, I can move on with the next. I think what that does, it allows you to be healthy when it comes to how you attach and detach. It's kind of like you can do it in a healthy way, right? And so that's what I do enjoy. I do enjoy because ideally, it's pandemic. Ain't nobody really, and you in the grocery store, you got your mask on, nobody really coming up to you like that. So you feeling some kind of way, like, am I still cute? But when you go online, it's kind of like a confidence booster because it's like, oh, I got 10 matches today, right? And so you get a chance to start, practicing, your communication and your, all of that. You have more options out there. So let's talk about that, Veneris, because you said if it doesn't work out, you can move on. Okay, let's talk about that because there are some times when you have been talking to somebody for a couple of weeks and
mm-hmm.
they ghost you. Okay, let's talk about ghosting because I think what we want to be careful is just because we're on a digital platform, it doesn't mean that we're dealing with digital people. We have real human beings on the other end with real feelings. Can we talk about what's the proper way to like communicate that you're not interested or to kind of make that shift without like hurting the other party?
You know what? I think it goes back to being honest in the very beginning, right? Of who you are. So if you're honest in the very beginning of who you are, and down the road it just doesn't work out, or there's the interest is just not there, you go back to who you are, and that's part of the explanation, is saying, hey, I'm not feeling the vibe, or blah blah blah, because of this and because of the type of person I am, blah blah blah. So it all goes full circle in that moment, of in the very beginning, them kind of being authentic with that person, and being consistent in being who you are and not changing it up and being all over the place, um, because people are all over the place sometimes. It's like, wait a minute, I thought you was Jade yesterday. Now you're married today, and I don't know. So it's like, it just be consistent. And I think it comes full circle, and that helps you, down the road and that conversation, because that's not an easy conversation to have. And some people are cool with you just saying, "I'm sorry, I'm just not interested." You don't have to really go into why. I mean, unless you want to, unless they ask and things like that, then you can kind of explain more about, who you are and why and all that kind of stuff. But I've had to, say, hey, I'm just not interested. And they can appreciate, at the end of the day, honesty sometimes can sting, but in the long run, they can appreciate it because you're protecting their heart, you're protecting yours. and y'all protecting your time too. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole spiel on that.
I like it. I like it. Thank you.
I say it depends on the situation. And the reason why I say that is, I mean, I think honesty has its place, and it really depends on how long you've been seeing each other. Because I felt like the natural ghosting was, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The natural ghosting was you just stopped talking to a person. Like literally, like the phone calls just dropped off. And I knew, okay, they're not interested and I'll move on. Right. And that was fine. Like we don't need to have a conversation. But it made me think of when you said that, like being super honest, a date that I went on. And this probably was like 2016, 2017. And we go for a hike. And after the hike, we're going to go for breakfast. Now we hike together for like an hour and a half. We go to breakfast. After breakfast, he drops me off at my house. And then he's like, you know what? I don't think I want to see you again. So I was in the car.
Wow.
And I literally was like, okay. And I remember saying to him, dude, I don't want to see you again either. But like literally, this wasn't the time to say it. And it was just so odd. It was like the oddest thing. So the reason why I'm saying that is be honest, but think about your honesty. Because I thought that was just so odd. I went in the house. I've spent 3 hours with you. And then he winds up telling me the reason why he did it that way was because women in the past had said that he wasn't honest.
Okay.
And that basically they had the date and they would text him back. And I guess they wanted to go out again or whatever the case. And he kind of would just stay their friend. So, I just think that honesty, like just, they are human. So just ghosting to me is not, especially early on, that just means a person just stopped calling you. That's why men do it. I feel like men ghost because they don't want to have the conversation. Okay. And so I think as women, you have to be able to develop a tough skin because we're not used to asking men out and we're not used to multiple rejections. And when you start dating online, you get rejected too. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I called him, he didn't call me back. Or I text him, he's no longer texting. Yeah, because he's not interested. Like the movie goes, he's just not that into you. And so you really have to check yourself before you go into this process and be good with you so that stuff like this doesn't really bother you. It can roll off your back. It just wasn't a match. It's not a big deal. You move on.
I like that. I like that. So two different perspectives. And, you know, I guess what has worked for me in the past, this may not be for everybody. I'm a communicator, right? I don't like to just ghost people. I don't think I ever have. But I would say, and let me rephrase that because if it's early on, like I just met you that day, I may not. I may just be gone. But if it's something where like we've been talking for a while, you know, a couple weeks and, you know, you got my phone number and we've been out on a date, I feel like, let me give you a little something, right? So I may say, hey, I'm big on honesty and I'm not about playing with your heart. I'm not about playing with people's heart. I don't think we're compatible. I don't think as we're compatible as I would like us to be. And so with that being said, you know, I don't know that I will continue to call you, right? Because I just feel like if you put it from that perspective, it kind of lands better. But it also doesn't put it to where you're blaming that person for something they did. It's just that we just not matching. We just not connecting, you know? So if you guys want to try that, you could try using that line. It's landed well several times. There's times when, you know, people ask me, what exactly, you know, usually I don't go into the details. It's not relevant. If you're not matching, you're just not matching. So now you've been in a long-term relationship. You've been dating for years and years and years. I feel like, you know, that conversation needs to be had in person or something to that nature where it's going to involve a little bit more of a deeper communication. So again, it depends on the phases of which that person has been in your life, short-term, long-term, as to how you would kind of cater your communication to them. So
absolutely. I mean, I truly like what you're saying. Totally agree. I'm more so talking about that talking phase where people are just kind of saying good morning. How was your day? You know, that type of conversation that is kind of just online conversation. Good morning. Good night.
How was your day?
How was your day?
Can't stand
How was your day? But definitely, if you've been seeing a person for a while, you want to have a conversation and go from there and talk about it like adults. And men do that too. Like I'm when we think about ghosting, for most people, it happens early on when they're just not like vibing, you know. And
No, I agree. I completely agree with that. And so we do have 10 minutes left. I completely lost track of time. I was going to say questions a long time ago. But listen, I know we have some viewers tuning in tonight on various platforms. So if I don't get your question, I'm so sorry. But please, if you have any questions tonight, if you want to join in this conversation, now's the time to do it. We are opening our chat for you to do so. So questions for Melissa, questions for Valnerius, feel free to share. So I know Valnerius and Melissa, you have your own watch parties going on. So I don't know if you have viewers on your pages that would like to ask a question. If you want to go ahead and capture those now. So while we're waiting for questions to roll in, I guess I like to, end with my infamous do's and don'ts. So if we can just kind of go through our list of do's and don'ts of online dating. So I'll start with you, Valnerius. What would you say some do's are and some don'ts are with online dating?
Y'all stop catfishing folk. How about that? Let's start with that don't. Stop catfishing folks, man. I mean, it's like, and then we got a nerve to ask, did I look like my photos? Well, since I'm an honest person, let me tell you. No. Come on now. Like, let's not do that. Yeah. If you got a little extra on the arms, a little love on the arms, just show that too. Just show who you are, man. Show your whole profile when you do the selfie. Don't just do an angle. You know what I'm saying? One meat out, you know what I'm saying? Put all the meat in there, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not surprised when I see you in person and I'm seeing a little extra meat. Ain't nothing wrong with the extra meat, you know what I'm saying? I just need to know, you know what I'm saying?
It was there.
There, you know what I'm saying? Don't surprise me with the extra meat.
I agree with that because you had hair, you had dreadlocks in your picture, and then we go out and you're bald. I'm like, with no beard, I like the beard game. Okay, beard game. But it's like, nothing. It's like, be true. Like, your picture should at least be within 6 months.
At least.
Or less. Melissa,
your picture should be within the same month.
Because
a lot can happen over 6 months. Okay. This pandemic has proven that for me. Okay. So the picture should be and that's so true, because honestly, one of the things that I would get from men all the time was the first thing they would say is, you look just like your picture. Because I would always post myself as myself. And they would say they never get that. Like, at least that was like number one. They'd be like, at the end of the day, you get a token for just looking like your picture. Because people put pictures from college. Yeah. They put pictures from their thinner days. They put pictures, and it's like, a person, be yourself. And I think that's where it goes to the work. One of the things that I do with people when they first start dating is the happiness assessment. And anybody who's listening, if you want that assessment, you can inbox me. You could just say, I want the assessment. I'll inbox you, send it to you. But the happiness assessment really just marks where you are and the different things that you need to work on, or what keeps popping up for you that you need to take care of, so that you can get that level of joy. And when you don't have it, low self-esteem is there. And those are the things that cause us to hide ourselves or not show up really as ourselves, because we haven't accepted that part of us, and then you want somebody, you get mad when the person sees you and say you don't look the same. And it's like, but that ain't you. So yeah, we got to work on
I love that happiness assessment. And oh my God, there's so many questions I have for you, Melissa. Because you mentioned something earlier, but we have a question coming in. I want to make sure we get. But you mentioned something earlier about 2 things you want to make sure that you kind of address personally before you start dating, and that was kind of like your physical needs and your financial needs. And so I don't know if we'll be able to talk about that today, but I would love for you to bring you back to share more about that, because I think that is kind of like that steering wheel that guides us in certain directions in our relationships. Mm-hmm. But there's a question that came in. It says, what is the best platform for online dating? Ooh, that's good. Ooh.
Melissa's like, come on, B, what's up? Yeah, I would say, so just name the app. Is it with that?
I guess. Is that, hopefully, yes. Let's just go with that.
Free advertisement, right?
Yeah.
You know, I like Bumble. I like Bumble. I like Bumble. And the reason I like Bumble is because it sifts through. So first off, women have to open the conversation up first. And some people would say, well, that's not manly of you to want, you know, a woman to open the conversation. It's not about that, because I can conversate and, you know, and start a conversation in a minute. But what that does, what Bumble does is it shows women who are genuinely interested, you know. And I like that because it makes me feel like, okay, the kind of value in my time, you know. And it makes me feel like, okay, I'm not wasting my time, and, you know, we can build from there. You know what I'm saying? I feel like on other apps, when you're trying to, you know, work, as you know, to which is, you know, there's no problem with working. I love the work that, for, you know, to try to gain the interest of a person. But you do all that work and you find out the person just was never interested in you, and so it's like, well, what was the point of that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why. And I know, and I've encountered a lot of women who, you know, are not used to that, obviously. And they struggle with that, trying to open it, you know, the conversation up. And I get it. And men, we have to show grace. Come on now. You know, that's just not really, you know, a woman's role to open a conversation. But I like it because it spins it around to where it shows who's actually interested, you know. And so I like that platform.
Yeah, awesome. See, I liked all of them. I really believe that it was to me, it's like the energy you bring, because I would have people say, oh, you can't meet anybody on, and I won't say the names, but I met like amazing people on there. Or it'd be another one that people, there was a free app that people were like, you can't even, I mean, I literally had an amazing dating life before I got married. I met some really amazing men, to the point to when I did get married, my kids were like, okay, he's all right. But compared to some of the other ones, which was the crazy, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah, they literally were like, they saw some really good guys. So for me, it's like the energy, you show up as yourself and you've done your work, you attract good people because you're you. Like, it's something so amazing about being like confident about yourself. You've seen those movies where the woman just be looking crazy, but the guy is like, because she just so herself, is like, she's pretty amazing. That's how life really is. You know, if you think you're amazing, other people think you're amazing. And if you don't, guess what? They don't either. And you attract those people who keep that going, you know? And so before I stop, are you single? Because I think I saw something on my page. Are you still dating Valerius?
Yes, I am.
He's single, ladies. I just wanted to throw that out. So this is good, and y'all see he can talk too and hold a conversation.
Oh my gosh.
And he's a Christian.
Yeah.
Hey.
And look at that smile.
Put
Look
that plug in there.
smile. Yes. Okay, I just had to do that because that's what I do. I'm messy.
I love it. I love it. You know, I guess for me, I would agree with Narius. I like Bumble too. I feel like it gives you more insight into who people are, and people are more engaging in Bumble to me. But I also agree with you, Melissa. I have had some amazing dating experiences. I think what it did too was retrain my mind to know that there's actually a lot of good men out here. There really are good men that want to settle down and be married. They're not out trying to play around or play games with your heart. There are genuinely good men out here. And you know, unfortunately, they may not be compatible with you, but that doesn't mean that they're still not good. And so that's why I always say, just because they're good for you doesn't mean they're good people, doesn't mean they're good for you. And just kind of knowing that differentiation. But I just encourage people that have kind of written online dating off to kind of give it another chance from kind of the lenses that we've kind of were able to share today. You know, kind of reprogramming your mind to know that there are actually good men out there that you deserve, you know, love you if you be yourself, you deserve people that will love you exactly the way you are. And even if it's not love, it's just friendship, that's okay too. You know, online dating may not just be for finding the love of your life, but you may create some long-term, you know, good friendships out of it. So again, it's just creating that perspective where you're staying positive from beginning to end. And so I didn't see any other. Oh, there's one more question. And Melissa, I'm gonna give this to you because you actually shared this with me one time. How many platforms should someone be on at a time?
Oof.
Ooh, it's been a while since I've been on platforms, guys, but let me think. I would say no more than like 2. This is the thing. When you're on so many, it becomes another job. And so, I remember you and I having this conversation of, especially when you have a full-time job, you have a child, you have other interests, you should be like fully involved in your life. And this is just a piece of it. Because if it becomes like where it's everything when you're off work, that's when it becomes time consuming, overwhelming, and you get dissatisfied because it's that job you're looking for that you don't get right away. And you start to get like upset with the whole process. Just allow yourself a couple hours every week to go online. I used to do like Friday night. So my work week, because that would be annoying to me, is all during the week. You know how it is. You meet somebody online, you kind of, hit it off, and then they start hitting you with the good mornings, the good nights, and asking you questions throughout the day. And you feel like the end of the day, you feel like you've been online all day, like going back and forth.
That's good. Help us out.
Yes. So I just figured out, hey, Friday night, 2 hours, I'm going to go to whatever app. I'm going to look around. I'm going to answer any questions that someone, put out or said something to me. And I'm going to give it a little bit of time. And then I'm going to go back to my life. And that really helped because it could, like I said, it could become overwhelming.
I like the Friday night because even if it carries on, you have the weekend to engage.
Yes, to have that conversation and not during the week where you have stuff that needs to be done and you feel like, and especially because I think that's what happens with women. We really want to see it work out. And then when it doesn't, because of the time that we put in it, because we really are like that. Like, look, I put time in this didn't work. We get begruntled, and so just give it a little time and have a full life. I think that's the big thing. Too many people don't have a life outside of these dating apps. And that's where the issues really come to play, where people say it doesn't work. You need to have a life and it will work out just perfectly. This just to be a small slice of it.
Yep. Can't make yourself too accessible,
Yes, that's not even attractive.
Yeah, it's not attractive. We see it right away and we're like, all right, ghosted, it's time to ghost.
Yes.
So it's one of those type of deals. Don't make yourself too accessible. Be, even if you're not busy, act like you're busy. That's about it.
Well,
and you know what?
Oh, yes.
It's good when it's authentic. Because like when you were saying act like you're busy, a lot of people don't know how to do that. So authentically be busy. Okay, join some clubs, get with some friends, have brunch, and literally let this be a slice of your life.
Come on now, Melissa, you dropped the mic on that. Thank you. Thank you both. I mean, this is, like I said, it's supposed to be 30 minutes to an hour. Oh, well. But I know it helps someone. I mean, we have our viewership has gone up. So I know people are tuning in. They're getting a lot from what you both are saying. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing kind of your personal stories and being vulnerable and the humor. And I think that's key to kind of generally helping people navigate this place where they can love and receive love again, right? So with that being said, I do want to make sure that I give everyone an opportunity to stay in touch with you both because you are amazing. You dropped some jewels today, and I know they want to follow you and hear more from you. So Venarius, how can people stay in touch with you?
Yeah. Look my long name up on Facebook, Vulnarius. Just put in VOL and it should come up, I hope. Just put that in there. On Instagram, find me. I have it's pitiful. I have like 50 followers. But follow me on there is VRAC 2.0. Find me on there, VRAC 2.0 on Instagram, Vulnarius Rack on Facebook.
Awesome. So we want to follow your filmmaking career and all of that, partnering with Tyler Perry Studios and all those shebang. We don't want to follow you today. Okay, perfect. Melissa, how can how can they keep in touch with you? What are you working on? What are some projects that you want to share with us?
Oh my God, we're working on a lot. But if you just go to visionworkscoaching.com or DM me and I will send you the happiness assessment. Make sure that you stay connected with everything that we're doing. But I definitely am working with women to help you get back out there so that you can get the love of your life and you could just get your life together so you feel like so amazing and so happy about who you are. That's like why I'm here. Black women all day long. Check it out.
I love it. Visionworkscoaching.com. Y'all go check it out, Melissa Oliver. I'm gonna say goodbye to you all and share my final words. Thank you, thank you, thank you, both
Thank
of you
you.
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
wisdom tonight.
Bye,
Uh,
B.
Bye, Melissa.
See you later.
All right, guys. So again, thank you for joining part 2 of Dating After Divorce, online dating edition. Okay. I hope you guys got some wisdom from that. Again, for online dating, realistically, it's probably not for everyone, but for those of you that are going out there and you want to give it a shot, and hopefully the tools that we gave you today will prove to be very, very helpful for you. Again, I wish you the very best in your dating life, but I also want to wish you a very, very happy holiday. The new year is approaching. It's been a tough year for everybody in 2020. So my prayers are for you and your family to stay healthy and safe. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Don't forget to share with your friends and also tune in onto my YouTube page. You can find me on Author Chi on YouTube, but also on Instagram and Facebook if you want to watch my other previous series on dating after divorce and all the other panels that I've had up until this point. So again, Author Chi here signing off. Have a beautiful night. We'll talk soon.